Hello, welcome to Module 3, and this unit we are going to be going over percents. Now, most of us have an idea of what percents are because we encounter the word percents everywhere in our everyday lives. For example, when we go shopping, you might see that you can buy one, get one 50% off, meaning if you buy one item, you get the second one for half the price. Or if you say or sometimes we can get discounts for 10% off. And that means we're paying for only 90% of the price rather than the original 100%. So percents are just very useful to know and understand in our everyday lives. So with that being said, I encourage you to take as much as you can from this unit as it is very applicable pretty much everywhere you go. So going into our first topic, for 3.1, we are just simply going to be converting from fractions, decimals, and percentages. So remember in Module 2, we learned how to approximate fractions by converting them into a decimal. In this unit, we're going to use that concept to convert fractions to percentages and vice versa. So to convert, let's talk about first converting a decimal into a percentage. To do that, you multiply the decimal by 100, or you can simply move the decimal place 2 places to the right. Below is an example on how to convert a fraction to a percentage. So here we have the fraction 1/2, and if we put that in our calculator, we'll get the decimal 0.5. And to convert this decimal to a percentage, you simply multiply it by 100, which you get 50%. Or what you can do is move this decimal places 2 places to the right. So you'll move it here and you'll get 5, and you move it one more, you get 50, which is 50. Below is another example. However, in this case, we're going to be converting from a percentage back into a decimal. And to do that, you're simply going to take the percentage, which we got 50% here, and you're going to divide that by 100, which will get you 0.50, which is what we had above here. Now, to convert a percentage into an equivalent fraction, you simply take the percentage, which is here, and you divide it by 100. And then you reduce if possible. So here, what I did to reduce this to 1/2 is I divided both the numerator and the denominator by 50. And 50 divided by 50 is 1, and 50 divided by 100 is 2. However, one thing I do want to point out is equivalent. Oh, this is supposed to be not. Let me fix that here. Does not mean exactly equal. So what do I mean by that? We'll see in some examples as we proceed in this video that sometimes when we get a percentage and we divide it by 100, we won't get the exact fraction we were originally given, but we will be given this. It will give us an equivalent fraction, so we'll still get the same decimal approximation. So now let's use that information that I just talked about, and let's convert the following examples into a percentage. Now, once we have our answers in a percentage, let's work backwards and convert our percentages back into its original form. So that was a lot of yapping, a lot of talking, so I do apologize. But now we can officially go through our examples that we have for this section. So now I already said the directions, but if you need them, they are here. So without further ado, I encourage you to pause the video and try example 1 on your own before I work through it. And assuming you have given it a go, let's work through it together. So if we look, our first part is to convert what is given into a percentage. So we have to convert this 0.32, this decimal, into a percentage. Now, if you recall on the first page, I mentioned to convert a decimal into a percentage, you simply multiply that decimal by 100. And 0.32 times 100 is 32. And then we're going to put percent. Those percents is messy. Let me fix that here. So this is 32%. Now to convert this 32% back into this decimal form, if you look on the first page, all you want to do is take that 32 and divide it by 100. And 32 divided by 100 is simply 0.32. So let me box both of our answers here. Now looking at example 2, I encourage you to pause the video and try this on your own. You're going to use the same exact process as we used up here for this example. Now, assuming you have given this a try, let's work through it together. So we're going to take 0.5423 and we're going to convert that into a percentage by multiplying by 100. And that's going to get us 64.23%. Now working backwards, taking this 64.23% back into decimal form. To do that, we're going to say 64.23, and we're going to divide by 100. And that'll get us 0.6423. Looking at example 3, we have another decimal or another number. So I encourage you to pause the video and try this on your own. And now let's work through together. So to convert this into a percentage, we're going to multiply by 100. And then that is going to get us 142.73%. And now we're going to take this number. So this is our percentage. And now we're going to take that number and divide it by 100 to get it back into the decimal form. So we're going to do 142.73, and we're going to divide that by 100. And that is going to get us 1.4273. And that was our answer for that one. Now moving on to example 4, we are now going to be dealing with fractions. So it's pretty much the same process. As you've seen on this first page here, I already showed you how to convert from a fraction to a percentage. To do this, we're going to take our fraction, find the decimal, multiply by 100, and that's going to give us our percentage. So with that being said, I encourage you to go through example 4 and try it on your own. Now let's work through it together. So 4/3 is approximately 1.3333, repeating. So I just want to point out here, this line on top of this 3 I just put, this means repeating. So there is, in math, people use this line on top of a value or a number to indicate that this 3 keeps on repeating forever and ever and ever, and this 3 never stops going. So I just wanted to write that down. So we have 1.3333 repeating, and we're going to multiply that by 100. And now I'm going to approximate, and I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth place. So to the hundredth place, if you don't know, that is the second point at the decimal. So the second point, or the second value after the decimal place. So this is our hundredth place. So whenever you're asked to round to the nearest hundredth place in a decimal, this is going to be your hundredth place. So with that being said, our answer, when we multiply by 100, is going to be 133.33%. Now taking this number, converting it back into the fraction, we're just going to simply take 133.33, and we're going to divide that by 100. Now, there's nothing we can really reduce here, so we're just going to keep that how it is. And that's why, like I said on the first page, to convert a percentage into an equivalent fraction, you might not always get the same exact fraction you got back. As we can see here, 4/3, and 133.33 over 10 are not the same numbers, but if you did the math and you divided 4 divided by 3, you get this. And if you divided 133.33 divided by 100, you'd also get 133.3 repeating. Or not 133, 1.33 repeating. Okay, so enough yapping. Let's try example 5. I encourage you to pause this video and try it. And assuming you have given it a go, 1/4 in a decimal form is 0.25. Multiply by 100, that'll get us 25%. Now, converting this 25% back into a fraction, we're going to put that 25 over 100. In this case, we can reduce this. We can divide the numerator by 25, and we can divide the denominator by 25. And then I'll get you 1/4. And would you look at that? In this case, we did get the same exact fraction as we did before. Now, going through example 6, pause the video and try it on your own. And assuming you have given it a go, let's work through it. So 2.4 is our decimal. And we're going to multiply that by 100. And that is going to equal 240%. Now, converting this back into a fraction, we're simply going to take 240 divided by 100. And if we divide both the numerator, that looks like percent. If we divide the numerator by 20 and the denominator by 20, we are going to get 20/5, which is also the same exact fraction we started with. Or not 20/5, 8. Yeah. Wait. Hold on a moment. So I do apologize. This is not 20. I don't know why I wrote that. 240 divided by 20 is 12. Now, looking at example 7, I encourage you to pause the video and try this on your own. And assuming you have worked through it, let's work through it together. So, if we remember from Unit 2 or Module 2, we learned how to convert this type of fraction into a fraction like this. Now, as we know from Unit 2, this is something called a mixed number. So we want to convert this mixed number into a fraction, like one of these from up here. And to do that, we're simply going to take the number that's out in front, multiply it by the denominator. So that is 1 times 3. And then you're going to add whatever you get there, and you're going to add whatever values in the numerator. So we're going to add 2. So we're going to get 1 times 3 plus 2. Then we're going to put that over 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So now that we got the fraction form, we're going to take this and find the decimal approximation. And the decimal is approximately 1.6 repeating. And then we're going to multiply that by 100 to get our percentage, which is 166.66%. And then now to convert this back into a fraction, we're just going to simply do 166.66 and divide that by 100. And there you go. Congratulations, you have finished the video for 3.1. I can't wait to see you in 3.2.